The nor'easter that brought us our first widespread snow of the season also brought snow, rain, gusty winds to places that are still reeling from Superstorm Sandy.
Take a look at this video shot in a New Jersey neighborhood. It shows the snow piling up in an area already devastated by the storm. It has been 10 days, but power outages are still widespread, and the rebuilding process has barely begun.
The stories coming home from that area are truly humbling. News 13's Kate Barker spoke with a Portland firefighter now home after helping some of those storm victims in New York.
Portland firefighters are not only busy answering calls here at home. One lieutenant at the Portland Fire Department just returned from helping victims of Hurricane Sandy.
It's amazing the devastation that the wind and the water can do to an area.
Hurricane Sandy caused $50 billion in damage. It killed more than 100 people. Thousands of homes are destroyed. People are left with nothing. Sometimes, you know, it's just that shoulder to give someone to lean on, or maybe just stand there and listen to, you know, how they're feeling. Lieutenant Chris Tilson is home after spending nearly a week with storm victims in Queens and Staten Island, New York. People coming up, talking to you, explaining to you that they didn't have any electricity, no heat, their house had been flooded. Lieutenant Tilson is a Portland firefighter, but he also works for FEMA's Urban Search and Rescue Team. When disaster strikes, FEMA sends him to the hardest hit areas to go door to door. He searches for victims and does what he can to help the survivors. We want to make sure that everyone's okay. But the lieutenant is not only a first responder, he's also a husband and father. He has 2 young daughters, so leaving when a storm is coming is hard. I made sure I got the generator ready, got the lights all out, went and bought my girls their own lights, of course, and made sure as much as possible that things were taken care of at the house. Taking care of people is what Lieutenant Tilson does best. And he was happy to help in New York, but he's also happy to be home and grateful that a storm like Sandy didn't make a direct hit here in Maine. In Portland, Kate Barker, News 13.
And there are many volunteers from the state of Maine who are helping with hurricane relief efforts.
And members of the Maine National Guard are in Brooklyn, New York right now, for example. They're helping to set up shelters for victims of Sandy. Well, we just got sort of grazed by this nor'easter. Most of us did, though, wake up to our first snow, our first encounter with all that snow and slush this morning.
Take a look at the scene on 295 in Portland overnight. The snow came down at a pretty good clip at times. In Buckfield this morning, a dump truck slid off the road, flipping over on its side because of the slippery conditions. Several minor slide-offs were reported this morning.
Although the snow really isn't sticking around very long, it is getting a lot of people thinking about the need for preparedness for the winter ahead. Our Steve Roldan is live in Portland for us. Steve, it sounds like a lot of folks are suddenly thinking, hey, maybe I should get those snow tires on.
It definitely is. It's a winter ritual for a lot of us this time of year. The change over to the snow tires, which usually happens a little bit later in the season, but the coating of snow we saw over the last 24 hours has many Mainers getting their vehicles ready for the big chill.
Actually, I'm surprised I got into that because when I came this morning, probably around 8 o'clock, I guess, it was pretty full.
Now that's just one of the drivers in Portland already making the move to get the snow tires on her car. I'm told the first measurable snowfall typically gets drivers to do the same in preparation for the upcoming winter. Now many areas saw anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow, and the recent snowfall also has people firing up the snow blowers. Now many have started shopping for new blowers and others getting the ones they have fixed. And it's got many businesses scrambling to keep up with the growing demand.
A lot of people are bringing them in because, well, last year they didn't use them very much. And actually not using the snowblower can be worse than using it. I mean, letting it sitting around with the old gas in it and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people firing up gadgets like this one over the last 24 hours. But you may not agree with them, but a lot of business owners are hoping that we see a cold and snowy winter this time around. They say they lost a lot of business last year with the mild conditions and the lack of snowfall. So we'll just have to wait to see what Mother Nature finally delivers this winter. That's the latest live here in Portland. Steve Roldan, News 13. Back to you guys.
Yeah, I sure sympathize. I'm not sure I agree,
Absolutely.
though. Thanks very much, Steve. Well, the snow turned to rain across the area this morning. Didn't let up very much at all this afternoon.
The evening is kind of wet as well. Joining us now with more on the storm and what to expect for the weekend is Charlie Lopresti. A warm-up is in our future, though, right, Charlie?
It is, Kim, and I'm happy to report we have better weather in the forecast. Hang in there. Just another 12 hours or so. We'll start to see a clearing trend, and tomorrow looks to be a beautiful November day. Let's start out with the bad stuff first. We're still tracking rainfall and some pretty heavy rain at times. There's actually a pretty good slug of rain moving right up into central Maine, Waterville, Augusta, also eastern parts of our viewing area, heading over toward the Penobscot Bay region. A pretty good area of rain there as well. Chance for a few snow or mixed showers as you head back into the mountains. Temps right now are in the 30s. We're at 38 degrees in Portland. Notice overnight lows are around the freezing mark for many towns, so we'll have to watch that pretty closely. We have a lot of wet surfaces. There could be a few areas of black ice late tonight, more so early tomorrow morning. The good news, though, the wind will stay active, and that will help dry up the roads for the morning commute. Tomorrow looks nice. I'm happy to report we have sunshine back. Saturday looks nice as well, increasing late day clouds. A warm front will move through Saturday night with a chance for a shower. More importantly, though, Greg and Kim, we have warmer temps in the forecast. Back early next week, I have highs in the lower 60s, so I'll have that in the 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
It'll be balmy.
So we can recover from this little winter blow. All right, thanks, Charlie. He is responsible for setting not one, but 2 fires at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. And tonight, he has pleaded guilty to the arson that caused millions of dollars of damage on board a United States attack submarine. News 13's Brad Rogers has the story.
He could have faked an illness or said there was a family emergency. Instead, 24-year-old Casey James Fury set this fire on board the USS Miami attack submarine, all because he wanted to leave work early.
At approximately 5:30 p.m., he went up to the stateroom area at mid-level, and he set some rags on a bunk on fire with a lighter, and then returned to paint stripping in the torpedo room area.
Fury waited for the alarm to go off, then left the ship with the 50 other civilian workers on board. But first responders inside the sub risked their lives fighting this incredibly hot fire.
There were physical and emotional injuries to 5 first responders who risked their lives going into what had to be the equivalent of a roaring blast furnace.
It took firefighters until the next day to get the fire out. The cost to repair the sub, an estimated $450 million. Casey James Fury might very well have gotten away with it, but a month later he set a second fire on the dock below the submarine for the exact same reason, to once again leave work early. That fire didn't do much damage, but it did lead investigators straight to Fury.
They determined that Mr. Fury was working in the area of both fires at the time of origin.
For the 2 arsons, Casey James Fury will likely spend the next 15 to 19 years behind bars. In addition to the prison sentence, Fury could face fines up to $400 million toward the cost of repairing the USS Miami. He'll also have to pay restitution to the 5 first responders injured in the fire. At the federal courthouse in Portland, Brad Rogers, News 13.
The submarine was at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard for an overhaul at the time of the fire. Because of the extensive repairs now needed, that sub will be out of commission until April 2015.
Well, this is just coming into our newsroom tonight. 2 arrests made in a pellet gun shooting spree.
The incident occurred Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, causing tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage.
It happened across 8 towns in Oxford County. The windows of at least 20 businesses and cars were hit in the town of Rumford.
Tonight, Casey Morrow of Dixfield and Casey Child of Dixfield are both charged with aggravated criminal mischief in connection to this case. Police say more charges are expected.
We have an update tonight in a Farmington murder trial. Today, the man accused of stabbing an elderly woman 35 times as she lay sleeping is changing his plea to guilty. 27-year-old Juan Contreras is now sentenced to 50 years in prison, and once he gets out of prison, decades from now, he'll be deported to his native Guatemala. Contreras stabbed Grace Burton 35 times as she slept in her Farmington apartment back in June of 2011. Some good police work and DNA evidence led to the arrest. He will be about 70 years old when Contreras is released from prison. A registered sex offender is in trouble with the law again tonight after admitting to violating his probation by volunteering on a school-sponsored field trip. Rodney Heath of Otisfield is charged with prohibited contact with a minor after attending a field trip organized by Oxford Hills Technical School in Paris. The field trip was a weekend volunteer event, and students were invited to bring family members. Heath is a relative of one of the students. He was convicted of several unlawful sexual conduct charges. A hearing on whether or not his probation will be revoked is now set for mid-December.
A brake pedal mix-up ended with a car slamming into the Dunkin' Donuts in Paris this morning. Police say the driver hit the gas instead of the brakes, taking out the front entrance of the store. The driver is fine. Nobody in the store was hurt. Police estimate fixing that Dunkin' Donuts will cost about $25 grand. Again, nobody was hurt.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Charlie DePresti.
Well, welcome back, everyone. The rain continues. The rain will continue through about midnight or shortly after. By the time you wake up tomorrow, I expect mostly sunny skies. It'll be a pleasure to bring this forecast. Finally, we have sunshine in the forecast with a warm-up. Doppler HD is picking up on some heavy downpours. Heaviest rainfall right now is in Kennebec County, heading over toward Augusta and Waterville. Right here, that's where we're seeing some very heavy rainfall right now. So there is the chance for some heavy downpours. Eventually, this will be pushing out over the next several hours. We're looking on and off rain from Lewiston down to Portland. More of the same down into York County as well. A few lingering snow showers in the mountains, but all the snow showers will stay in the mountains. As far as snowfall totals, no real surprises with this one. This one a pretty well-behaved storm. Many towns coming in with around 2 inches of snow. As you head down to York County, more of the same, 2.5 inches of snow, and a lot of that is melting pretty quickly. Mid-coast region slightly higher. There are spots here near 3, heading over to Bath, Westport Island, Augusta, heading west here from Farmington, even the Conway area, 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of snow. Leeds coming in with about 2 inches of snow there. Okay, say goodbye to the storm system. The storm is spinning down off of Cape Cod right now. The storm is a very slow mover. It's going to be slow to move out tonight. We're seeing the edge of some of the rainfall still hanging around here in northern New England. In fact, this is the scene from our old Orchard Beach pier cam. It was an ugly afternoon, wasn't it? The snow came to an end during the morning and then just on and off rain throughout the rest of the day. That storm is moving out. Tomorrow is going to be a brighter day. In fact, Storm Tracker takes all these rain showers out of the region by about 1 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, we're seeing a return to some sun. Temps will be starting in the 30s. Notice these temperatures right around the freezing mark. So we have a lot of wet surfaces out there. There's the chance we could have a few areas of black ice by the time you wake up tomorrow. But the good news in the forecast, that wind will stay active, and that's going to help dry up the roadways. I expect mostly sunny skies during the course of the day tomorrow. Any leftover snow, it's long gone by afternoon. High temps will be in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Now, Saturday, we start with temps in the 20s and 30s again. 7 o'clock, we're out of the gates with mostly sunny skies. Notice some clouds on the increase. You'll notice high thin clouds increasing throughout the day. It'll just dim the sun, I think, as a warm front approaching, and that warm front moves through on Saturday night. There's the chance for a shower late Saturday night or early Sunday morning. It's 11 o'clock at night on Saturday. More importantly, that warm front's going to push through, setting us up for a warmer day on Sunday. Warmer air will invade. A few spots may touch 60 degrees, especially over western areas. Mid-50s should do it for highs for most towns, but I feel confident that Monday and Tuesday, we all warm into the low 60s. So nice looking forecast for a change, and a storm-free forecast for a change as well. Sunny skies tomorrow, high temps, mid to upper 40s. On Saturday, increasing late day clouds, upper 40s that day. 50s return on Sunday. Our next chance for any showers will be late Tuesday, that with a cold front. So it is an up and down forecast as far as temps go, because this time next week, I'm tracking temps below normal again. So you're either below normal, above normal. There's nothing really in between here in the 7-day forecast. But it's a transition season. I guess you could expect that.
Yeah, that's true. Although I think the 60s are going to feel very nice. And a lot of kids obviously have the day out of school because of Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yes. And
the parades and that sort of thing.
And that's probably one of the nicest days I have in the forecast, probably Monday. And the weekend looks pretty good as well. Just look out for a quick shower Saturday night.
Okay, sounds
take
great,
it.
Charlie. Thanks.
Thanks, Charlie.